welcome to Punky's World. As you can hear, there's still some congestion, but I'm feeling a lot better. Yesterday I felt like crap. It's like every day is different, you know? It's a roller coaster that the ride operator refuses to stop. But hey, my ride operator is the Lord and I'll trust him. So, as I said in the last video. Now, before I get into the health update, I just wanted to quickly tell you that I am planning, as you know, to move just across the driveway. Probably early next year. That's now sort of the plan for it. It was supposed to be the end of summer, but it got changed because my friend still lives there. What I plan to do is, once I get the keys, give you a full empty tour, kind of take you with me for some of the moving parts, you know, that I'm doing on my own. Sort of show you the progression of packing and moving the stuff and stuff, because it is across the driveway, so it's pretty easy. Excuse me. The hardest part is going to be moving furniture, which you will not see. And I want to give you a tour once I have it put together and decorated, because not only to show you guys, but also for me to document my first place that I rented all by myself. You know? So, because I think that's pretty cool. You know, most people do that when they're young. I just didn't have the opportunity, you know? For a lot of reasons. And so, getting to do this now, even at 48 years old, is something I want to document, you know? It's not that I haven't moved before. I've moved a number of times in my life. But anyway, to the health update. I don't feel too bad. I'm a little congested. My nose is a little bit more swollen than stuffy, I think. And I have a little bit of haze in my chest, but it's getting better. Remember, it's too thin at this point to really cough up. The breathing treatments have been helping. The medicine's been helping. I have finished my steroids, so hopefully I won't be so ravenously hungry. Enjoying my, and you know who just told me she had a notification for me. Oh, did I have a scare the other night? I was watching one of my mom testimonies channels. She has several channels. Life According to VJEXY, Doses of Cuteness, Through the Eyes of Ethan, Aubrey's Animals, My Mom Testimony, which is the main channel, and the Alexa and Ethan Show. And she jokingly said to her daughter, "Alexa, call 911."
Which phone number? Contact the device you want to call.
No! And I thought my Alexa was going to try to do that. And I was like, oh my God, no. She didn't. She just now tried to call a phone number, but I don't think she has the ability. She's not set up with the ability. I mean, she is connected to Wi-Fi, so I suppose technically she could, but it scared the crap out of me when she said, I'm like, oh, no, Darcy. So, thanks for the scare, Darcy. That was funny. You know, once I realized that she didn't actually try to do it, and I didn't have to try to stop her, it was funny. So, yeah, it was yuck. So I am going to continue my quarantine. I am going to make another video today, though, because I realized that I never really made a video in my health playlist about my spastic colon. And I have a few things to say about that. That's what that playlist is for. It's for me to tell you about my different diagnoses and document, also for me. And to help people understand, because a lot of diagnoses, unfortunately, you can't see, well, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you can't see them. And that particular one kind of has a stigma to it that I want to talk about. So we'll get to that, but in next video, because I've been wanting to do that for a while. Oh, by the way, very excited. Fascinating Graveyard, Lamont at Large's other channel, today put out a video at Gorilla Monsoon's grave. It is in my watch later list. I am so excited. Thank you, Lamont. He's an old wrestling guy like me, so. Well, I'm a gal, but you get it. I like Lamont a lot. He does true crime, wrestling, all sorts of stuff. He's very passionate. So I highly recommend him, by the way. But like I said, other than a little bit of stuffiness in my chest, not too bad, and a little bit of mostly inflammation in my head, I'm feeling a little more energy today, which is good. That's why I'm able to make videos. I may work on writing that wrestling video that I told you about. Just gotta get the books. Excuse the backup beeper. I have a neighbor that has heavy equipment. Actually, I think I have two of them. And they have backup beepers, and they're super annoying, especially in the summer when everything's opened up. Yeah, that's not fun to listen to all day long. It's like, do you know how to go forward, perhaps? Just to give me a break from boop, 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 boop. So it's enough to drive you completely nuts. And I know some of it's probably over on Main Street, too. Delivery trucks and all that stuff, but it is annoying, man. Can you tell that I have sound aversions? Big time. And it was funny because, speaking of aversions, they were talking about Beckham's texture aversions. I have those. I don't like hard, crunchy food. It's the texture. I can't do it. I like soft food, and I don't mind a little bit of crunch. Like, surprisingly, the Raisin Bran Crunch is delicious. There's no nuts in it or anything. It's just clusters of oats, so it's not like a hard apple crunch or a water chestnut crunch, or nuts to me are bitter. And I'm allergic to peanuts, which are not a tree nut. They grow in the ground. They're not a nut. They're a legume. They're a bean. What was I going to say? That I understand his texture aversions because I have them. Like I said, crunch, hard. To me, I want my cookie soft. I want if I'm going to eat a pastry, I want it to be a soft pastry. If I'm going to eat candy, I just want it to be chocolate. I don't like a lot of sugar anyway, and I didn't grow up on hard candy because I had caps on my teeth, and I wasn't allowed to have hard candy or any kind of chewy candies, caramels and nougats and taffy and that kind of stuff because of the caps on my teeth. So I just never grew a taste for them. And those came from a lot of antibiotics, by the way. When a very young child is given a lot of antibiotics, if they've been very sick, antibiotics do terrible things to your teeth. So as the baby teeth start coming out, they start coming out already bad. So put me to sleep. They threw these shiny metal caps on my teeth, called it a day. They had to do that in surgery. But yeah, it's those are my aversions, sound. Although I guess if I am autistic, that is very common. I don't know about texture, but sound. I know for them feeling certain textures. And I have that problem too. I told my mother, actually not long before she got sick, I said, there's something I never told you when I was a kid. We were watching a thing about autism, I think, and sort of discussing it and discussing me. And they were talking about touch, and they were talking about certain feelings of touch, textures and stuff. And I said, when I was a kid, when you would bathe me and you would like really soak up my arms and it was like slimy, oh, it was torture for me. And I didn't have the words to tell you that it was overload in my senses. It was torture. And I didn't have the words because I was so young to tell you what I was feeling, that I didn't like it. And she said, oh, I feel so bad now. I said, but Mom, I didn't have the words. It wasn't your fault. You were cleaning your kid. I was 4 years old or whatever, 3 years old. And I didn't have the words to tell you, Mommy, that's slimy. I don't like that. Don't do that. I knew it didn't feel good, and I didn't know how to express it. So, but watching that, and I think sometimes when you watch things like that with your kids, when they're grown, they're able to tell you, or even when they're teenagers, they're able to tell you, when I was a kid, ugh, you know what I mean? There are a lot of foods I won't eat because I do not like the texture. And I have to be honest about the artichokes. I hate lime. The things were marinated in lime. They probably would have been fine without the lime. Because they didn't seem to have a lot of flavor of their own. The texture was nice. That's something I worried about. I worried about sort of a hard, leafy texture. I don't know how to explain it, but and I guess fresh ones would have a slightly harder texture, but a hard, leafy texture. That weird leafy texture that some thicker leaved vegetables have. Trying to think of a vegetable that would, like a cabbage type texture, a raw cabbage type texture. I don't mind raw cabbage, raw red cabbage, I don't mind raw cabbage. If it's a homemade coleslaw, like my mother's coleslaw, yum. They actually have a dressing for that, and it's so stinking good. The problem is I would never use it by the time it went by because it's a decent bottle. It's about probably, I don't know, 6-8 ounces, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you're only putting a tablespoon on a little bit of the mix, which has red cabbage, green cabbage, and carrots in it. I don't do raw carrots. I don't do the texture, but if they're shredded, that's fine. I can handle the texture in small doses. I know this has nothing to do with my current diagnosis, but I just wanted to just talk a little bit about it because we're talking about health. But I will be back with the video all about spastic colon if you're interested in that. Um, Stay tuned because it will be coming up. Uh, so thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you. Bye bye.